Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today we're having a look at this Historex 54mm plastic horse. They're normally done for Napoleonics, and they do actually some Western figures, I believe. Uh, I'm doing it as a Western figure, but as a modern day cowboy out on the range, obviously in the modern day United States. So it's quite a peaceful scene. There's nothing warlike about this one, and it's also to really teach myself. I'd like to sculpt. Uh, the horse is basically the same as Hysterex have made it. Uh, some slight differences. They give you a complete halter around the bridle. I'll go in amongst different names. I'm not an expert on this stuff. I did look it up yesterday and forgotten most of what it's in my head, but I can't get it out to you guys. Anyway, mate, there's different styles of Western halters, and they have some where they don't do the European one where it goes over the nose band. Obviously, they do, and I believe some of the I don't know if the cavalry figures of the 1870s had them over. I can't remember, but a lot of the time they'll have them with the brow band on, coming behind and then down the side to the bit. So I've literally removed it all. You can see some very slight traces. There's a slight trace there. However, by the time I've put my own on, and then I'm going to use some liquefied putty just to smooth out areas. I've left this on because I think it quite bulks up the face. I didn't agree with the halter that was on there before, because it goes literally like this. It's almost just literally under the eye socket, where I would have thought it would have been more down here, but and that's where mine's going to be, hopefully, not so high up. So yeah, it's that's the first bit of stuff I've got to do. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I might use it with pie foil. I've got a fair bit of that, slightly thicker than the silver foil. I might use plasticard. I'm not 100% yet sure how I'm going to go around that yet. Once that's on, I can put a mane on. There's no point putting it on yet because obviously I need to put horsehair over it and things like that. And what I want to do is that, as you can see, the pose is looking off, this way. And what I'd like to do is have, if I can get the rider and make him look halfway decent, have him looking in the same direction. I've told you before, I'm a big fan of Tim Cox's work. I can't remember if he's in New Mexico or out of Arizona, but he does a lot of modern day ranch and Western art paintings. And go and look him up, Tim Cox. He's a fantastic painter. There's a couple of ones I'd love. I just even if I found the money, which prints aren't that expensive as prints go, £70, £80, £90, but it's just the shipping. I don't know what they do charge, but anything from the States to here or from here to the States now is just not worth it. Anyway, go check him out because if you're interested to see where I'm going with this, I'm not particularly using any. I do use. I've got ideas from his paintings. I've got ideas from a lot of the photographs I find online, but it's helping me put my, as well as the photographs, but helping me build my tack up on the horse and stuff. So the idea is, I'm not sure yet if I'll have a piece of wooden fence in front of him, just for just make the base up a bit really. But they're looking off into the distance. Maybe there's a storm coming, whatever that they're looking out into the distance for. If I can, I haven't even got to sculpting the figure yet, have I? A lot of his work, he'll have the ranch dog with him, and I've really got a hankering to do a dog looking out in the set. So calling it the Three Amigos. So like look, whatever it's going to be called at the end, looking in the same direction. I wanted to show a bit of bring the scene to life slightly. Oh, this is sounding really arty, isn't it? I haven't even done the figure yet. It's going to look like a potato sat on a decent horse, because I'm not really doing a huge amount to the horse. I'll get into that in a second, apart from obviously the tack and everything. So what I'd like is a slight breeze or wind, not strong wind, but coming from uh, over the shoulder of the horse, for want of a better word. So the mane will be. I'm going to try and put the mane not streaming in the wind, but just you can see there's movement there. Maybe the tuft of the horse hair going over, but particularly the tail. Now I'm not going to take this off the sprue because I want to keep them all. Although I'm not using them, they're always handy for spares. If I start taking them off, um, I'll start losing them. But that's obviously designed just to go straight classic, bump like that. And I just think that's boring and whatever. So what I'm hoping to do, often obviously the horse is, if it's windy and that, the horse will tuck its tail right under. But what I'm hoping to do is have the horse tuck his tail there, but then have the breeze like whip it round his back quarter there. That's the idea anyway. We all know this is just a fly ready to hit the windscreen, isn't it? we Look, if you don't find anything interesting here, you'll at least have a good laugh. As for the putter, you can see, I mean, it's the usual. I'll never remember it, but I'll show it. Milliput, obviously, standard. I do have the more refined stuff. Um, don't look at that as like there's huge gaps. There isn't. It's just obviously I've Warwick was I put a thin worm down the seams, as you can see, and then use some isopropylene alcohol. Put it in just one of the many lids of bottle tops I've got here, and then was just smoothing it round. Um, so there's not huge gaps here. I've just obviously tried to smooth it out more. The problem might be ridges involved, but when I primer it, I'll just keep doing it like you would do on an airplane seam or a car seam. I'll just keep playing at it until it's done. I'm not going to do a half job on this one. This is actually molded in. That's not a mold line. That's his like the veins running. They've done a decent job on that. They've even put a couple of burrs. I think they're called burrs. I was going to look it up afterwards. I can't see it. Oh, there's one. Hang on, I'll show you here. That's not a bit of plastic. That's I think they've actually put a burr in there on the horse's leg, which I thought was good. I mean, these are old. I mean, as I say, these are. I mean, I can't be 100%, but they're either anywhere from the early 70s to the 80s. But as I said to you, I got 5. If you've looked at my other video, there's 5 in a. I bought 5 in a box. They don't tell you what poses you're going to get. The one that we've been talking about, where I thought was good, like movement, like you could put 2 figures fighting. I still might be able to do that, but when I actually looked at it, there was a bit of bump. They'd sent me, some printed off stuff, which is quite old school. But they send you a big list of things that you can keep, and you can order, the bits, whatever you want for them. And there was a pose where the horse is actually wounded, or he's blown out, as in he can't, he's literally just fallen down knackered, and he's lying up with his head turned up, and I suppose you'd put maybe put a kneeling or a standing figure next to him, and I think that's what that one is. But I still think it could be made to work with the other one, well, as in 2 figures, sword play or whatever. But yeah, it's a peaceful scene. This one is ones I quite like, which is I'm just I love my Wild West figures and the Native American, First Nation, of the the Little Bighorn period, for want of a better word. But I really do like just as I said to you guys, I put a lot of like rodeo stuff on and PBR, which is the bull riding, and I just enjoy that type of thing. And I just wanted to just do a fairly peaceful scene. He's just a cowboy, modern cowboy on his, so there's going to be no 6-shooter at his side or anything like that, no Winchester. Just on a small ranch, maybe a big ranch, I don't know. And he's got his dog with him, and they're looking out on something. Probably do a fence, not a big fence, just to show that there's a fence here. It's going to be on a small base. I'm not going to go to town on it. And it's just a way of me getting to grips with doing a bit of converting, and a major bit of sculpting. Really, let's face it, I haven't got a rider for this. It'll be do all the tack, the Western saddle, and yeah, let's cover it all up then with a badly sculpted figure. Could be a badly sculpted saddle yet, I don't know. But yeah, and just feel our way through it, really, see how it goes, and then if it goes well, I will be doing some Napoleonic figures. I love mounted figures, and it's for me. I've always said I've got a couple of Airfix 54mm Carassia figures with the rearing up horses. That's a lovely pose. I was thinking of swapping the heads on those because they're a bit soft, as most of the and including the Historex figures, they have for the period they have quite soft faces. I'm not tied to it because it's an Airfix collector's. It's got to have the original head on or whatever. It's making the figure my own, really. But with these Historex horses and that, they are really cost effective. And if you're no good at building weapons, and who says I am, they will sell you, I believe, different weapons and stuff if that's what you want. So there's endless possibilities. But I think I'll do. I'll be definitely doing these 5 figures. Might even add more to them. This one, as I say, will definitely be a figure I quite like, which is just a peaceful range scene. I'd like to, as I've said to you guys, I'd really like to sculpt my own horse because I think trying to convert these, because I'd really like to do a bucking bronc, like rodeo bronc. This one would be more like I'm not so much on the rodeo circuit type thing, but maybe I don't know whether 1920s, 30s, I have no idea, 50s, but just breaking in some horses on a ranch somewhere. But for now, we do this. I'd like to do some, as I say, some Napoleonic figures. I haven't gone away from that either. There will be some mounted Napoleonics if I can do a decent sculpt. Yeah, it's nothing quick really, I suppose, but let's just see where it goes. So yeah, it's a lot of talk for not a lot of action here, really, is it? But I said I'd it's something I've got my teeth into, and I'd like to show you guys. Either it goes well or it doesn't. We'll just see. Oh, I've drilled holes in the bottom because I'll put some wire in. You've got to be a bit careful because obviously you don't want to put your wire in at an angle. So to put it in straight, you can only go so far before you drill out the top. So just some small piece of wire in, and I'll get a wooden block to work on. Stick him down on the wooden block and work from there. But for now, I'm still needing to obviously go around the figure. So yeah, next one. Quicker than I thought, really, as in what I needed to do. I'm going to have to build a bridle halter. To say I love all this stuff, actually retaining what things are called, or knowing, I don't always retain it because I don't even know some of it. But yeah, we'll do that next. Then put in a mane, I think. The problem is you need to let things dry off. You can use a hairdryer on epoxy and it will dry out. The problem is when it's on a plastic figure, you've got to be really careful, or somebody's neck's going to be like drooping down like a banana. So yeah, it'll be halter, which will give me, at least I'll know what materials I'm going to mainly be using for the tack and what works for me, and then a mane, and then we'll work on the tail. The tail I might put a piece of wire through, and and build it up from there, really. And then once that's in place, because I don't think that's going to impede anything with the tail, we can put her on once everything's again been sanded, wiped down, whatever, we can put her on a block and then start making the saddle up and all the different tack that's comes with it. Obviously have to leave the reins off till the last, because honestly until then we've got to try and bodge it all with a homemade figure. So yeah, it'll be what it'll be. But if I fall flat on my face, then we'll get up, we'll try again, and we'll keep going. As I say, the figure, although I'm going to have a go at doing my own head and hands, because it's the only way you're going to learn. However, if it's dragging on that each one I do for the time being isn't good enough, I'll be sending off for some heads and hands from El Greco, and I'll use those, until I've I've got enough about me that maybe I can sculpt my own faces and hands, but we'll see. Right, all that just to show her stuck together and whatever. I just wanted to show you really, as I say, what's the bridle halter and everything's all off. Oh, the other thing I need to do is, there we are. So I'm doing it with my phone. I suppose they would just stick a plastic bit on there. Well, normally when they're down on the bit, the lip curls up slightly, and obviously there's a slight bit of movement underneath. So I'm probably going to drill a hole so I can pin a bit in, make my own bit. But then I need to put some putty around again, just to show the lip curled up slightly. That's something else I've got to do. Right, you enjoy your Sunday, what's left of it, and I'll get back to working on this figure. Look after yourselves.